So last night I actually made a video that basically talked about how Don Russell is 100% innocent. Now, I wasn't able to release that video until early this morning. After releasing the video, I heard two different things from the community. The first thing I heard from the community is that Don Russell is an informant. Now, I have no idea whether or not any of that is true. The only thing I did was read the indictment. But if you believe he is an informant, definitely leave your questions and comments below. Provide some links to some information about that, and I'll try to get around to making a video to put all that stuff together. But the first time that I've heard that he was an informant was this morning. And I'm just going to admit, I don't know much about Don Russell, right? Most of the stuff that I focus on were probably the indictments that were charging R. Kelly directly. I didn't too much focus on anything outside of that. I think, when you look at some of the alleged victims like Azriel, I think she kind of popped up as a potential informant because of how everything flowed. Basically, from my understanding, she was alleged to have been a witness at the same time. And actually, when you look at some of the legal documents that have been produced, she was alleged to have been a witness at the same time she was visiting Kelly when he was in prison. And basically, at some point, she turned against him. And I was kind of watching a lot of information that came through those stream of events, so that's why I kind of covered a lot of stuff by Azriel. But outside of that, I haven't really focused on Don Russell. I don't know anything about him or anything. So the allegations that he's an informant, I don't know if it's true. I'm not denying or I'm not defending. But again, if you have information about him being an informant, definitely leave your questions, comments below. Right. So the other thing that I noticed, and the other thing that's been reported to me, is that there's also a second indictment about or for Don Russell alleging that he called out a bomb threat. I have that indictment. I found it. I'm still going through it. I have no comments on that indictment. So the first video I made was based on the first indictment. And this video that I'm making now is based on grown little boys' response to my first video. So I just want to throw that context out there so we don't go off on a tangent. And I just want to make sure everybody who is watching this video know that we're talking about the first indictment against Don Russell. So now when we look at the first indictment for Don Russell, the first thing you have to notice is, what is he being charged with? Don Russell is being charged with intimidating, or what's the other word, stalking or harassing a witness. He's not being charged with RICO. So if he's not being charged with RICO, why would you waste so much time talking about RICO and R. Kelly? They're doing that for two main reasons. The first reason they're doing it is obvious, that R. Kelly has a bail hearing coming up. And they want someone to parade around the federal courts and use as an example to say, see, this is why we can't let R. Kelly out. That's why they're doing this. The second reason that they're putting all this enterprise and RICO stuff into this particular indictment is because they're trying to hold up their RICO charge. Now, I have to give it to the federal prosecutors because, they've basically made a masterful move. They could have indicted Don Russell a long time ago. Again, a lot of stuff in this indictment, it happened in 2018, right? So what they're doing now is that they're trying to extend it from 2018 to February 2020. That's what they're trying to do. But you could have brought this up a very long time ago. The problem with this entire indictment, in my opinion, is that it's just bogus, and it's only being done to serve one with two purposes. Number one, defeat R. Kelly's bail denial. I mean, to defeat R. Kelly's bail hearing. And then number two, they're trying to maintain this RICO charge, right? which in up until now, I don't believe that they had a chance, right? I think, and I'm not going to go too far off on on the tangent. I know that there are two other indictments against two other individuals, and they are tying those individuals to R. Kelly. And now, to me, it appears that they could have a chance at substantiating the RICO charge, but I don't think this indictment substantiates the RICO charge. Now, let me explain why I believe that. So, when I issued the challenge, show me one solid allegation in this indictment that basically shows that Don Russell is guilty. What the grown little boy has done is that he's just reading the indictment verbatim, and he's not basically listened to what I was trying to say, right? Basically, what this indictment does is that it accuses Don Russell of intimidating the witness. But what people don't know is that every person in this world has a right to respond to a lawsuit. If you have evidence to basically prove your innocence, part of the process, part of the litigation process, is to provide the opposing party a copy of that evidence. That's everybody's right. Now, Don Russell is, in my opinion, just from reading this and following everything, Don Russell has some type of relationship with R. Kelly. I've seen Don Russell in a lot of videos where R. Kelly is being released from jail. I don't know what the relationship is. It's either a business relationship or a friendship. And either way, if I'm being indicted, I can have a total stranger. I can employ the services of a total stranger to say, hey, look, I don't have time to deal with this lawsuit. Let me give you the information, and I need you to take care of this for me. I can do that with the total stranger. All I have to do is create an affidavit, and basically in that affidavit say I am appointing Joe Blow, power of attorney, to basically handle all my affairs as it regards to this issue. Anybody can do that, and you can do it with a total stranger. Now, the fact that Don Russell is doing it, he could be doing it because it's some type of business deal. Maybe Don Russell's handles things like this for him. He could be doing it because maybe Don Russell is his friend, right? But in either case, stranger, business partner, or friend, you have a right to delegate uh, parts of your litigation off, or parts of all. You have the right to delegate parts of all of your litigation off to a stranger, to a business partner, or to a friend, right? Or even to a relative. That's your right. So now this is where it gets tricky, and this is why I'm trying to explain to you that this indictment is nonsense. If I have evidence against you, right? If you're claiming that I violated you some way, and I have evidence that basically says that I haven't violated you, part of the litigation process is for me to package up that evidence and send it to you and your attorney. And that's all Don Russell has done. He's basically taken the videos and the photos, and he sent it over to the opposing party, right? Can Don Russell and or R. Kelly post this information on the internet? It really depends. It really depends. If the photos were taken consensually, and if the photos that were taken didn't reveal any of her private parts and things of that nature, then I believe those photos can be posted. And the reason I say that is because the YouTube community does it all the time. Every single photo that everybody is posting on their website are photos that they basically got off of the internet. So what I'm trying to say is simply reading the indictment and reading the allegations against Don Russell is not in and of itself enough information to indict Don, right? The only thing Don has done was send over the videos and the photos of Faith Rogers over to Faith and the attorney. And as I explained before, if you're suing me, I can reach out to you and text you and say, hey, look, call this off, or this information will come out in court. And that's essentially all he's done. The indictment the indictment gives you a lot of history of what's happened. Let me see if I can find some of this information. It gives you the history of what actually transpired, but the history of what transpired is not enough. Again, not enough to basically indict this man, because the only thing he did was essentially basically provide evidence that she's lying, right? And everybody knows that Faith Rogers' lawsuit is bogus. And that's the other piece that I didn't focus on too much. Basically, you're claiming that you didn't want to have sex with this man and you just want it to be over. But on the same hand, you're sending him suggestive photos of yourself. You're doing videos of yourself. So in these videos, you consent it to because you're looking directly into the camera. If you don't want to do it, then basically get up and don't, get away from the camera, right? So there could be a possible civil lawsuit there, right? Whether or not she consented to the videos, and she can sue based off of that. But I'd have to have more details on that. But that doesn't lead to a criminal indictment. It just simply don't, right? So some of the information that this indictment posts, based on records obtained by subpoena and information provided by witnesses, including employee one, employee two. Employee one worked for several years as an assistant to R. Kelly. All this is just kind of like the details of the communicate of what transpired between the parties, but it doesn't substantiate the charges. Basically, all he did, and there's also talks of how he created a website. I believe that website was 100% perfectly legal as well. 100% perfectly legal. Not a website, but a Facebook page, right? Because when you read through the details, he basically created a Facebook page called Surviving the Liars. And then he posted photos of Faith Rogers. Now, the photos that he posted didn't reveal Faith Rogers' private parts. And it also talks about him appearing, I think it was on Texas Diamonds YouTube channel. And I actually saw that video from Opinionated's channel. And I didn't see any photos of Faith Rogers where the I didn't see any photos of Faith Rogers where her private parts were exposed. He's basically going on media, and he's basically protecting his client or his friend. I don't know what type of relationship him and R. Kelly had. I don't know under what type of agreement they had, but I'm just going to tell you that R. Kelly had the right to go on shows, to go out and publicly talk about why these allegations are bogus. And if he delegated that right to Don Russell, then Don Russell has the right to go out and publicly protect R. Kelly. So that's pretty much just going to be it about this video. Again, reading through all these specific, just reading through this entire indictment is not proof of the actual allegation. I'm asking for someone to show me one solid allegation. Now, keep in mind that anyone that is party to a lawsuit or hired or given the responsibility to responding to a lawsuit has a right to speak publicly, has the right to engage the opposing party, has a right to post information on websites, and to go and do live sessions and go on shows and defend themselves or their client. So with that in mind, that's all he's doing. He's basically defending R. Kelly, which he had a right to. The indictment mentioned that he sent two texts to uh, Faith Rogers and a mom. So what? Who cares? That's not harassment. That's just me sending you a text saying, hey, look, I have evidence that says that you're lying. If you don't call this off, I'm going to basically make sure this evidence comes out in court. And that's all it is. That's it. Leave your questions, comments below. Let me know what you think.